Hello again, and welcome to another of Mosaic's coffee breaks. Mosaic is, of course, a collaboration of the organisations shown at the front of this presentation, and that collaboration focuses very much on the ownership issues associated with mid-market law firms. And when we say ownership, we mean everything associated with ownership, mergers and acquisitions, partnership structures, succession planning, partner exits, and everything associated with all of those issues. I hope you enjoy this broadcast.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the latest Mosaic coffee break. And I'm delighted to say on this occasion, we're joined by a guest, Susan Glenholme, a managing partner who's well known to all three of us. Susan's managing partner of St Albans headquartered Debenhams Ottaway. So firstly, welcome to the call, Susan, and thank you for giving us some of your time. And I wondered if you could start by telling our viewers a little bit about yourself. Not everybody will know you. So what was your family background, your route into the law, and how did you go from a private client solicitor to the giddy heights that you occupy now?
Thank you, Nigel, and thank you for inviting me to be on this today. So I'm Susan Glenholme, managing partner at Debenhams Ottaway, as you said. I have been with the firm for 27 years this year, which almost seems like my whole lifetime. And I have been managing partner for 6 years. As you said, we are a firm in St Albans, is our main headquarters. We also have offices in Radlett and also a London office space. We have about 120 staff and 16 partners. My background has been, I was born in Kenya and I grew up there until I was 18. So went to school in Kenya and then came to the University of Hertfordshire when I was 18. They came to my school in Kenya and tempted me to come to the UK away from the sunshine. It was the coldest time of my life when I arrived, and I thought, who actually lives in this cold? And I slept in my coat and then realised actually it's not too bad and I can survive here. So I stayed, that was in 1994, and I've stayed ever since. And trained and qualified with Debenhams Ottaway and became a partner when I was 5 years qualified, and then became managing partner 6 years ago, as I said.
That's great. Thank you, Susan. I'm going to pass over to my colleagues straight away for some questions. We're going to talk today about the challenges of being a managing partner in what is a very different age to the age you started out at all those years ago, 27 years ago. It's very different now. Mark and Howard, what would you like to ask Susan?
What are the challenges of being a managing partner? What are the things that keep you awake at night?
I think, as Nigel said, that's changed over the years. I think as I became managing partner, we went straight into the pandemic, so that wasn't the ideal time to be becoming a managing partner. But I think the main challenges that you face is a lot of people saying that you're on your own and leadership can be quite lonely. What I have found as one of the challenges is making sure that you are taking all the partners and the people with you, and getting everyone to buy into what you believe is your vision, your strategy, and that people don't forget about that, because it's very easy to go back to client work. But I also think having the three of you has been really useful when you have people who you trust and you have a network that you can trust. Having LawNet as well, that we are members of LawNet, has been really useful to talk to other managing partners. But the main challenge, I think, is overcome of not being on your own when making decisions if you have the right network around you.
We tend to talk to internally about some of those issues. I know I found when I was in the role, it was very lonely. And you do find who your friends are at that time.
I think we're quite lucky that the partners all talk to each other. I do have a number of partners that I can rely on to bounce the ideas off, and we've worked together, as I said, for 27 years, so we know each other quite well. And having a group of partners that you can discuss and understand what the issues are and whether you're going down the right route, I think is useful. I also have a business coach as well, which is really useful, so that you can talk to someone externally just about what you think might be the challenges that you're thinking clearly on, and seeing if you can get it clear in your mind by bouncing it off somebody else is really useful.
Mark, I'll allow you to come in.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think, yeah, you know, it can be lonely. up there at the top. And I think the support network is key. As you know, I'm really sort of obsessed by culture in organizations, and have to quote Peter Drucker on these recordings as often as I can, that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So I was going to ask, how do you go about creating that correct culture within a firm as managing partner?
One of the main things I found useful is getting people to see where they are to where they need to be, and that is with all of us getting behind it. I use the boat analogy a lot, and where are you rowing? Which direction are we facing? Are you even on the boat? Is all the conversations that we have to have. And the culture isn't just one of us, it's all of us as partners. So how do you create that? I think is by talking to each other, being open. And I think because I've known everyone for 27 years, but most people I trained with some of the partners, I do think we can be a lot more open with each other, and understanding what the direction is. If we know where we're going and where everyone is on that path, then you can hopefully make sure that that people want to be moving in the right direction.
Can I ask a potentially difficult follow-up question to that, Susan?
Go on.
I think when I first met you, the culture wasn't where you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Have you got there yet?
I think we have, and
Right.
There's still improvements that we can make. I think we have got to that, a lot of it through the help of the three of you, and I think a lot of it is structuring the partnership in the right way. So the help you gave us with that in making sure that our governance is correct. So our LLP agreement was the main thing, looking at that and making sure that we understood in that what our priorities were, and for each of us to be able to follow that. And once we're clear on what our priorities are, then it's about talking to each other more openly about where we need to be.
I know you've admitted quite a number of new partners a year ago. Was it 4 or 5 new partners?
Yes.
And that took you over my magic number of about 10. I think it takes you up to 12 or 13. My magic number, and why it's a magic number is I tend to say some sort of lockstep arrangement tends to work best for partnerships under 10 partners. When you go over 10, then you tend to have greater disparity between the different contributions of the partners. Have you found the differences has arisen as a result of going over that magic number of 10?
It is more difficult to make decisions when there's more people, and when there's more lawyers. Everyone's got a different opinion, which makes it even more challenging sometimes. What I think in terms of succession that has worked really well for our firm is we've always thought about that. So as I mentioned, I was made a equity partner when I was 29, and looking back now, I don't know if I had all the skills that I needed at the time, but someone believed in me, and the partners at the time did look for having newer partners coming in, and that really did help to make sure that we're not just the same people over and over again making those decisions and talking to each other. So it has changed in terms of the decision making, but in a good way, I think, because we've got fresh ideas now, and a lot of the partners who have joined recently in the last year have also trained with the firm, so they see it from their perspective of when they joined compared to when I joined, and we are much more open now, I think, as a partnership as a result, because you have different ideas coming forward. So I think it is a good thing to keep introducing that and keep having a succession. And I know many firms think that isn't a good thing to do, but again, it's something that I believe is really important for the future of the firm.
Can I follow up on that, Susan, and ask, how do you select and develop your new partner cohort? Because I think that is key to creating that correct culture within the partnership.
We've got a very clear career progression now, and we just had a partners meeting today where we're looking at the role of the partner, and actually everyone taking part. So all partners were in that session, seeing exactly what we think is important, whether we should, because nowadays it isn't just about doing your client work. The staff require a lot more of mentoring, training, supervision, and not every partner can give that. So the selection now is, what do we believe at the top is required as partners, and then we can have that clear career progression. Whereas I think in my day it was a little bit more of a tap on the shoulder, and now it is that you can't just do that. And also I don't think the younger solicitors just want to be doing client work, or it is very different now in terms of expectation, and we are alive to that. So the selection process is making sure that we know first of all what we think is important, and then the next step is for me to talk to the staff about that and see if we can get the buy-in at every level.
And what do you think are the important attributes that you look for?
I think the firm first has always been something that we look for, so that you put the firm before your personal agenda and thinking about making decisions that are right for the firm rather than your own agenda, and looking at just the different qualities that people have, playing to people's strengths. We have a partnership that is very varied. As people, we're all very different, aren't we? And making sure that we can play to people's strengths, that we think there is a foundation and a core level that everyone must be able to do, and then flexing it within that to see what you can bring as your strengths. And that can change over your career. In the meeting we had this morning, I remember that when I was a partner, not a managing partner, that I spent more time on the team development, whereas now it's the inspiring the whole firm, looking at that commercial and business acumen. I would have looked at that more in terms of billing targets, financial targets. Now it's across the whole firm. What is the commercial and business acumen? COVID taught us a lot of that you had no cash potentially, and what were you going to do? And making sure that we understand that now, I think, is really important.
Problems that I always found when I had your role was that it was a 24/7 commitment, and I know it's something we've bantered about once or twice in the past. I think your last email to me was at 8:30 on a Friday night, when you perhaps ought to have been doing something else.
That's early. I've been getting them at 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Don't give away my secrets out.
How are you finding time management nowadays?
It is a lot better. I, for the first time, are now in my own room, which is away from everyone, which I've been in open plan my entire career. Just being able to detach a little bit to think about the firm has been really important. I've only done that in the last couple of months now. The reason I was late on Friday is because I was off on Monday for my daughter's birthday, so I was trying to catch up beforehand. So yes, so I didn't do anything on the Monday apart from spend time with her. So that was the reason. But generally now it is that bit of trying to make sure that I am not getting involved in the weeds of everything and trying to step out. So trusting my team now to be able to make the decisions and allowing me to think about the strategy.
Excellent. Well, look, Susan, thank you very much for spending the last 10 or 12 minutes with us talking about the contemporary challenges of being a managing partner. In part 2 of this coffee break chat with Susan, we're going to look at the challenges and the opportunities for independent law firms. But until then, Susan, thank you very much, and thank you to all our viewers.